Well, I made a top 10 strongest characters of each race video, and after, I wanted to make a video on each race individually. Originally, it was just a top 5, but the Redguards and elderscrolls with the sword singers and assigning warriors just run too deep. Only doing a top 5 would be a wasted opportunity. So, let's get started. Divad Hunding fought alongside his legendary father, Frandar Hunding. Divad did not seek to be a warrior. Unfortunately, Hira, the last emperor of Yakuten, began to persecute the sword singers, having Divad arrested, using 100 of his best men. But during the arrest, one of the men struck his elderly grandmother, killing her. This unleashed the spirit of a warrior inside of him. Divad used their chains as weapons, killing 4 of the men and escaping. Later, he convinced his father to rise against the emperor. They started a rebellion. The resistance was attributed to Divad, the great warrior, and his father, the leader and advisor. So, the War of the Sword Singers began, and it is said that at every turn where Hira would cause mischief, his plans would be undone because of David. But this isn't where David's story truly forms. His story truly began when he, his father, and Rada invaded Hammerfell and fought the ancient denizens, such as the giant goblins. Unfortunately, his father would die in battle, but David would take his place, forging a Shiha and breaking the Goblins' King's hold over Hammerfell. For his effort in making a home for his people, he is considered a legend, and upon his death, he was laid to rest inside the Hall of Heroes with his father. 9. The Younger, also known as the Orachok god of the sideways blade. He was an avatar of the spirit Hunding. He was the leader of an order of Daanga, powerful Asani, who were involved in the 30-year invasion of Orsinium, defeating the orcs at the peak of their power. 8th, Sutura. Sutura was a necromancer to King Faharaja, who he attempted to have assassinated, but failed. However, he escaped and joined the Worm Cult, a group belonging to the legendary necromancer Manamarco. He used members of this cult to once again try to kill the king, but he was thwarted and killed by a tribe of Redguard warriors in an ambush. He would later be resurrected by his children, but ultimately defeated by the Vestige. Frandar Hunding belonged to the Sword Singers. This element of society grew from the desert artisans. They built the first temple to the unknown gods of war and built a training hall, the Hall of the Virtue of War. The people of the Blade kept their poetry and artistry in building beautiful swords woven with magic and powers from the unknown gods. The greatest among them became known as the Asani, or Saints of the Sword. Asani, of the highest virtue, wandered the countryside, engaging in battle, righting wrongs, and seeking to end the strife. Asani, of the highest level and sensitivity, and those with talented magic can in times of stress form a spirit sword, a Shihai. That is far more than light and air. It is an unstoppable weapon of great might, a weapon that can never be taken from the owner without also taking his mind. The Shihai became Hunding's weapon, and with this, he killed bands of brigands and wandering monsters infesting the land. Finally, upon finishing his 19th duel, defeating the evil Lord Janik and his 7 lineage followers, he was satisfied that he was indeed invincible. Hunding then turned to formulating his philosophy of the way of the sword. He wrote his learnings down in a book, the Book of Circles, while living as a hermit in a cave in the mountains of high desert. These sword singers were never numerous people. The harsh desert kept their birth rates few, and growing up in unforgiving wastes eliminated all but those of iron spirit and will. Hyra, the last emperor seeking total control, set out to eliminate the singers from the planet. Thus, the final strife, which became known as the War of the Singers. Hunding devised a plan of 7 battles, leading the armies of Hyra further and further into the wilderness of the foot of Hatu, where the final battle could be fought. The larger armies of Hyra followed the small army of Hunding. Outnumbered 30 to 1, the singers never faltered from their way. The battle was pitched, and many singers fell that day. Hunding knew that the singers who lived would be few, but Hyra and his empire of evil would not live, and so it went. At the end, Hunding and less than 20,000 singers survived that day, but no army of evil was left to pillage and murder. More than 300,000 fell. Of those who were left to run and live, all were scattered to the 4 winds, an organized force no more. In honor to Hunding, the great warrior, prince, each household in Hammerfell has a niche big enough to hold the Book of Circles. 6. Sai Sahan is a legendary sword master and martial artist, and once part of the legendary 5 Companions, a group of warriors of great renown and skills, whose mission it was to find the Amulet of Kings, rekindle the dragon fires, and make Varen Aqualaris a true emperor and dragonborn. This, however, was a ruse, a trick made by Manamarco to cause the soul burst, destroying the barrier between Nirn and Oblivion. From here, Sai Sahan would embark on many adventures, including fighting Daedra and Manamarco in order to defeat the Daedric prince Molak Bal. He would also become captain of the Dragon Guard, a clan of dragon hunters, teaching them the arts of swordplay, leadership, and tactics. Sai's true ambition were to revive the martial traditions of his ancestors. Even though he was trained in the ancient art of Yakuden, becoming a true sword singer was his greatest failure. However, he would eventually succeed, creating a Shihai, a spirit sword. Turns out, all he needed was the love of a white woman. 5th, Mela Lei, Saint Leki, god of war, a warrior, a sword singer, a 2nd level NC, a warrior capable of forming the Shihai, the spirit sword. She is mostly known for her sacrifice at Bang Kuras Pass. In the late First Era, the king of Daggerfall betrayed his Redguard allies, killing Gaiden Shinji, a hero and leader of the Order of Dainga, and attempted to invade Hammerfell. A group of Ansi and Leki's band of 6 maiden sword masters defended the pass against his army, but eventually all of them fell, except Mela Lei, whose father's sword was broken in battle. In desperation, Leki was able to summon her spirit sword. They fled before her wrath. All ran back through the pass, not even pausing to collect their dead and wounded. All who could stand ran for their lives. She slew all. She single-handedly defeated the Breton army, stopping the invasion, and killed King Jolie. While she would ultimately die, her people remember forever her sacrifice in helping to save Hammerfell against the treachery of the Bretons. 4th, Cyrus the Restless. Cyrus was a hero. After killing his sister's husband, a political leader, in a drunken sword fight, Cyrus fled to join pirates. Led by the Nord pirate captain Tobias, Cyrus soon became a mercenary for hire. He wandered the borderlands of the empire for years, taking whatever jobs he could find. selling his skill with the blade to beggars and petty kings alike. He would return to Hammerfell in the midst of war for his sister, who we learn had her soul sold to Clavis Vile. On his adventures in Hammerfell, he would fight and defeat ogres, imperial soldiers, even the jewel of the empire, Tiber's Septum, the red dragon Nephiliargus. With his victories, Hammerfell was able to negotiate a favorable peace treaty. After this, Sai would become the stuff of legends with stories like the meeting of the sword with the living god Vect, where he threatened to use the Pancratus sword, an attack that destroyed the original homeland of the Redguard. 3. The Celestial Warrior. The Celestials are believed to be either divine beings or mortals given so much power that one can't tell the difference. Regardless, the Celestial Warrior is a Redguard and incredibly powerful. He protects the world from the Celestial Serpent, who wishes to destroy and remake Nirn. These entities do not fully manifest in Nirn. Only through the use of the Apex Stones can they appear, and if even one stone is destroyed, it would unleash power, destroying all of Mundus. Number 2. The Ebony Warrior. This is the warrior you face upon reaching a high level in Skyrim. So it's implied this warrior could be one of the final characters the Dragonborn faces in his journey. He is a Redguard capable of using shouts. His dialogue also implies he was in a competitive battle with the Dragonborn, who could defeat entities like Alduin, putting the Ebony Warrior high on this list at number 2. Number 1. Rada al-Saran. Man, I basically made 3 videos on this man, so not really sure how much I can say other than Rada is like everyone's list. He showed exceptional skill in rivaling the goddess of aberrant swordsmanship in a duel, was one of the Ansi who fought to take Hammerfell. He gained great physical and magical power after becoming a great host, a vampire lord. He would even become the leader of this powerful army of vampires, werewolves, and witches. He easily knocked out the likes of Lyrus Titanborn, a half-giant warrior who faced multiple strong enemies with his red lightning. He fought Divestide, the hero of Elderscrolls Online, who has faced and defeated the likes of the Celestials and Manamarco, and finally obtaining the power of the Dark Heart, the Great Darkness, the shadow of the Daedric Lord Namora, that replaced the blood of the heart of Larkon. And if he succeeded in his plans, with the heart's power, he would have created an existence and realm even beyond the Daedric Lords. And that's my top 10. Tell me your thoughts in the comments, and tell me what race you would like me to cover next. Please like, sub, and hit the bell. Later.